Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm finally here with my Smogon Tour playoffs round 2. Hold on, I'm not even on the right zoom in amount. Hold on, that's better. Alright, anyways, I'm back here today with finally my round 2 for Smogon Tour playoffs. Yeah, I mean, I uploaded the round 1, I think, about 2 weeks ago. So I wanted to come back here and, get back to a round 2. I know it has been 2 weeks, but, me and Ojama, we are two, very busy, very, handsome people. We got a lot to do, We couldn't play in the small time frame of the weekend, bro. We pop and we have stuff to do. So we had to play on Tuesday, which was yesterday. Anyway, he was a higher seed than me. So he picked Black-White as that is probably his strongest tier in Smogon Tour. So he took me to Black-White game 1. Let me go over my team. This is a pretty cool offensive team that I really like. It has mixed chomp on it, which is not a mon I really ever often use. Honestly, I don't even use guard chomp that much in Black-White anymore. I used to really like it a lot more. I brought it last tour playoffs. I brought it once, but I was SD and it ended up going on like a late game sweep. But the only guard chomps I really like in Black-White are SD or Scarf. I don't really like mix just because, I don't know, it's not something I've really tried. But this time around, I was like, Garchomp is really good versus a lot of his teams, and I worked on this with my boy BKC, and he told me, like, Mixed Chomp is definitely a solid pick, and I know he was like a big fan of it, and I was like, you know what, this does seem like a pretty clean pick. And looking at Ojama's team right now, I could see that, wow, if I'm able to get up my rocks and my sand, that way he can't go to stuff like Mew and Gastrodon like for free. My Garchomp can really, put in some work with like max special attack, Life Orb, Draco, and stuff like that. Anyway, talking about the rest of the team, that was just kind of the focus. Rotom and Heatran are in here basically because they're just good all-purpose pivot mons alongside Amoonguss. This Fire Water Grass Core is really hard to break. Rotom in general is just really nice in Black-White, and honestly, it gives me a good matchup versus his team as it's able to come in on Gyarados and Mew and Jirachi, stuff like that. It's even able to come in on Gastrodon, burn that thing, and get out of there if necessary. My Tyranitar is Stealth Rock, 3 attack, Custat Berry actually, not Chople Berry. I mean, this team could be weak to Alakazam in theory if like a shit ton of hazards go up and all that kind of stuff. But with Scarf Lando, Spadef, Rotom Wash, Heatran lives 1, Chomp lives anything without, that's not HP Ice. What's it called? Amoonguss lives non-life orb hit, and Titar also still lives a non-life orb hit. It wasn't a big deal for me to have Chople Berry as if Zam would like get out of control in like the first like 5 minutes of the game or anything like that. Chople Berry is a pretty cool tech because Titar oftentimes has to come in to take Specs Dracos and stuff like that. You oftentimes can find yourself at a low amount of HP, and Custap is that kind of surprising tech that would work just like one time really well in tournaments. So something I employed here. I have Magma Storm, Earth Power, HP Ice, Protect, Heatran. This is a set I was going to run last round as well, but I didn't get to, and it's like my favorite mon in Black-White, honestly, this Heatran. So I brought that shit again. Amoonguss is your staple water resist. Don't have to really explain. And Scarflander is T, just to kind of patch up some holes. Secondary ground resist. But yeah, honestly, I really like this team. His team is very kind of like unconventional. It's a pretty unique looking team. Dual ground, dual steel, Gyarados, like it's just a pretty interesting looking build in Black-White. This is not a common build you would see. But with that, let's hop right into the game. Hold on. Alright, so he leads off with Mew as I lead off with my Landers T. I saw that my Landers T got free U-turns on basically everybody, so I figured it would be a fine play for me to make. A U-turn turn 1 as he just goes for the soft boiled, I guess predicting me to just go for the Scarf U-turn. He goes for a taunt here, and I saw from that U-turn damage 36. I forgot to say it only did 36. My Landers T is naughty, meaning I'm plus attack. I'm max EVs, meaning I'm at 427 attack, and Mew taking just 36% from that means he is completely max Mew, like max HP, max defense, bold. Like it's clearly that. So I go into my Heatran because I was like, well, he probably doesn't have Earth Power or Earthquake because he has a Gastrodon, a Drill, Lottie with Surf, Gyarados. He has enough anti-Heatran measures to where why would his Mew need to have Earth Power as well. Anyway, I keep going for Magma Storms, but even though my Heatran is max special attack modest, it's not doing enough because like it's only doing like 53, 50 to like 56, 57, and long term if I miss one, I'm kind of fucked. And I also don't want to start wasting oh my good Magma Storms. Mew continues to get hurt by the thing. Whatever, I'll Earth Power him again. Now here, I'm very confident he's going to switch out because if I Magma Storm again, his Mew is just going to keep losing health. So I make the double into my Amoonguss here to catch the Gastrodon, which I was pretty confident he'd go to. He then goes to Latios, which I stun Spore on the switch, knowing that, okay, he has no Sleep Absorb. It's probably going to be Latios with Sleep Talk. So I go for the stun Spore over the Sleep Talk, over the Spore, which is really nice because now I can prioritize my Spore for something else need be. Anyways, I go to my Tyranitar here, thinking, okay, cool, I can get on my rocks for free, as he makes the double into Jirachi, which is a good play on his part, knowing that I'm not going to stay in. I'm most likely to go into T-Tar, but here I realized, if he brought in Jirachi so early, it would make me think it's either A, like a specially defensive type mix set. I thought he could be specially defensive, just because Zam with spikes, and just like if it's offensive, Latios Draco will kill everything on this team, because Drill obviously can't switch into it, and then even an offensive Jirachi takes like 50 or like 55% from a Specs Draco, so that's not really a good counter either. So I was pretty sure this Jirachi is going to be some kind of defensive form. I figured it probably did have rocks, and I thought he would trade rocks with me here, so I am just going to go for the Stealth Rock. Kind of an aggressive play, but it works out because he does not choose the Iron Head. Now I'm going to switch out and go into my Heatran as he goes for the Thunder, I guess expecting that. But he misses, which is nice for me because I don't have to risk the 60% chance of a what's it called, paralysis. Anyway, I know the Gastrodon's coming in for sure, so I double into my Amoonguss, and now I'm like, okay, I set the scene, I got my rocks up, I got my sand up, as I was saying earlier. That's the conditions I wanted to have for when I bring in my Garchomp. I double in the Garchomp, JR 5 Hennies mode, because my man JR in the finals right now. And shit, when he's 5 Hennies deep, I don't think anybody can stop him. So, I had to name my big hitter Garchomp after him. Anyway, my man JR is in. I have Life Orb Draco Meteor, and I was like, shit, who's he going to on this? He goes into his Gastro, and this Life Orb Draco does a ton, a nice 69%. Clean. So clean. Now here I thought, I could Earthquake, but if he goes into his Gara, that could be a pretty frustrating situation. In the back of my head, I was like, well, if he goes to Gara, he's already taking rocks anyway. But I figured, you know what? If Draco Meter did 69%, I really do not lose much by clicking Draco again. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just going to Draco again as he goes into his Gara. I guess to just kind of Life Orb stall me. He wants to keep his Gastro. But he lets his Gara take a heavy hit. And I see first it gets hit by Sand and no leftovers. So I was thinking, you know what? Is that thing either Natural Gift, Power Herb Fly, which is probably not what it was. So in my head, I really thought it was Natural Gift or it was Resto Chest, because I was thinking Resto Chest could definitely be something too for this to run, because if it doesn't have leftovers. I figured, okay, you could run Lum, but in general I think Resto Chest could just be cooler than Lum. And it's been seen before in tournaments, so it didn't completely slip my mind. Anyway, I decided to go for the Outrage there because I'm like, well, if I kill the Gyarados, my Scarf Landorus looks like a really big threat as well. So I was like, I don't really mind going for this trade. But he reads that, doubles back into his Gastrodon, sacks to my Outrage, and now he's able to go into his Mew, which we saw earlier is max defense. That Outrage does nothing at -1, and he is not going to play around with me being able to switch afterwards. He goes right for the Ice Beam to knock me out. Now here, I was like, well, I have to go to my Landers because my other 4 are all slower. T-Tar will get burned, and then Mew will just recover to full. That'd be bad. Rotom can't threaten this without Will-O-Wisping it, and then I'm getting burned too. Amoonguss just gets taunted, and so I was like, you know what, I'll just go to my Landers T. I'll U-turn out back into my Heatran, and like that's fine. U-turn, the roll is in his favor to live. Earthquake, it's a 50-50, but I also cannot risk Earthquake because if I don't kill and he kills me back, like I'm fucked. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna go for the U-turn here as he knows he can stay in. Yup, barely hangs on. That ungodly Mew, bro, able to eat those 427 attack U-turns, bro, like strong ass thing. He's gonna soft build again here. I guess he doesn't really have a solid switch into my Heatran, so he's electing to just stay in and waste a couple of roofs, waste a little bit of my PP. Here I'm gonna start spamming Earth Powers to get the Spadef drop because that'll put me in an advantageous situation. I don't want to throw away all my Magma Storms, especially if that's like a balloon drill. I guess actually that doesn't really make a difference. Earth Power finally gets the drop, but I was like, all right, finally, that's pretty clean. Sand is negating his leftovers in combination with the Magma Storm chip. Go for a Magma Storm here. As you can see, that shit does 84. So I was like, clean. Let me hit one more Magma. That's a dead ass Mew. Like excellent. I can kill that, and then I can really start to get it popping with my Landers T. Anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, I missed there. He soft builds again, and I miss again. Now here, I'm very confident he's going to switch out, knowing fully well that like this is not a satisfying position for him to be in. His Mew will inevitably lose 1v1 to my Heatran, so I go right for the HP Ice, knowing he's most likely just going to bring in his Latios. And yeah, I'm able to basically put that thing at 9%. It's basically dead now. He makes the double into his Exca, And here I saw no balloon, which basically confirmed to me that this was going to be a Scarf Excadrill. Because if he was going to run a non-choice Exca, it would just be SD Balloon, which would make sense. But I see that he's not Balloon. He goes right for a Toxic, and he's Mold Breaker, so I was like, this has to be Scarf. Like, there's just no doubt it's Scarf. But anyways, I'm still going to scout it, because I was like, you know what, it would be a stupid play to just sack my trend like that. Double into my Amoonguss here. Pretty clean play for me. He goes into his Gyarados here, as I believe I double into my Landorus T. Yup. And that works out because I'm able to go for a U-turn, and I was like, alright, this is pretty clean. I couldn't possibly be in like a really like too bad of a situation at this point, because I'm putting on the pressure. I'm able to always go into my Heatran and click that nice Protect, and go from there. So Protect, scout what he wants to do. He decides to go for the Rapid Spin, and I was like, okay, he's trying to get the rocks off for that Gyarados. That way he can rest up. So in my head, I was like, shit, yo, it's probably rest chest then. Like, what else would it be? If he's trying so hard to preserve this like 8% Gyarados, plus get these rocks off. Like, I was like, dude, it has to be rest chest. Anyway, I go into my Heatran as he thunders and misses again. So apologies for that. But he thunders here, does about 25% as I Magma Storm, and I do big ass damage to that thing. I think I just Protect here, yeah, because it's in my best interest, as he reveals the Healing Wish, and I was like, oh shit, Gyarados is back. And now here I was like, well, if this is rest chest, that can be annoying because it's gonna get like another life on top of the life it just got back. But then I was also thinking, why would you run rest chest plus Healing Wish? That's like so much like comeback Gyara. Like that's like you're trying to attempt like 3 Gyara sweeps. I was like, I was unsure at this point, but it was still something I had to keep in the back of my mind. Anyway, Ojama makes a nice ass double into his Excadrill here on my Scarf Rotom Wash. I was like, damn, that was a heat play. I believe I go into my Amoonguss because he is still Mold Breaker. Amoonguss is still my most useless mon. I was like, shit, this is fine, to be honest. Anyway, I don't want to give anything a free turn, so I double back into my Landorus T because I'm like, shit, the Latios could come in. I'm just going to keep getting my initiative. As he continues to save his sacks, he goes into his Exca here. As I just keep on U-turning. Back into my Heatran. I believe I just Protect. As he doubles, he goes back into his Gyara. I was like, shit, good play. I was getting a little scared, I suppose, in this like certain situation. I'm gonna go into my Rotom here. He goes for Waterfall and ends up critting, and I was like, ooh, okay, that could be really bad because I'm gonna need this Rotom to come. I was gonna need that Rotom to come in again on a Waterfall, but remember, crits in Black White are double, so I was like, shit, that's pretty scary. I gotta keep this guy safe. I go for Hydro there in case he goes to Excadrill on a choke play. I go into my T-Tar here. This is a Flames play. This T-Tar, 248 HP, 72 defense. God EVs, bro. Earthquake brings down to 4%. Remember what I told you on the beginning? I got that cuss tap on me. Boom. Revenge kill that Exca. Finally get that shit out the picture. I was like, ooh, what a hot play. God damn. He goes into his Gyara here. I'm at -2, so it's not favorable for me to stay in. As I go into my Landorus T, this guy has Explosion on it, specifically for this type of shit. And he goes to his Mew, predicting that, which is a really great play on his part. Finally, he's going for the end game possible Gyara sweep, and I was like, all right, shit. He's going for the possible end game Gyara sweep. If that's rest chest, this can be very, very unfavorable. I'm gonna have to try and predict around bounce with my Amoonguss, and also stall him out with the Sand too with my Protect Heatran. He Ice Beams twice. Finally goes for the Gyara sweep. I was like, all right, let's make it happen. He Dragon Dances here as I go for an HP Ice. Because I'm modest, it still does a pretty nice amount, 23%. I'm able to go for the Protect here, as I believe he DDs again, predicting that, which is a nice play on his part. But the fact that he DD'd again made me think, okay, he's just desperate for a sweep. It's probably over at this point if he doesn't have rest. He goes right for the Waterfall there. And then I believe I switch into my T-Tar on a bounce or whatever, as he reveals to actually be Natural Gift. So, you know, I knew it was one of those, Natural Gift or Rest Chest, but thanks to him revealing Natural Gift, it's going to be over because he doesn't have Rest. I can go into my Heatran Protect, and then just switch out into my Rotom, I believe, as a sack, and that is going to be game 1. So that was a pretty close Black-White game. I had a really solid matchup in this game, and I was pretty happy with the way I played too. I feel like I had a lot of good checks to like most of his Pokemon. So the matchup in that sense was good, but then I was also able to just play aggressive enough to bring in my guard chop, get my opportunities. But yeah, this game went really well for me. Honestly, the preparation went well, the game went well, so I was pretty happy with this one all around. It kind of went as like I was hoping it would. Anyways, let's get on to Gen 7, the next game. So he took me to Gen 7. This man brought a Chansey. I was like, bro, why'd you bring this person? But this is actually a team that has been used in the past in SPL. Yeah, it's a Chansey offense that, yeah, it's just been used in the past, like the same 6 months. And there was like a variation with Kieran B on it over Latios and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of this type of Chansey Magnezone Landers type thing. Like, I don't like Chansey in general. If I'm not using stall, I don't want to use a Mon that throws away all the momentum. But I mean, this team has one in the past. But luckily for me, I got a Medicham, bro, because, you know, I went back to my roots, baby. I actually made this team too. I made this team, which is crazy because people are like, you know, oh yeah, that boy Blunder, you know, he doesn't build a Sun Moon, bro. He just gets teams, blah blah blah. Man, calm yourselves down, bro. I made this team. This shit is hot, baby. It's hot. So let me break down this genius for you, bro. So I got Medicham Coco, tried and true core, except my Medicham doesn't even have Thunder Punch, so it's not like in the way you think. They're just nice to have together because Coco's able to U-turn on a lot of stuff. And bring Medicham in, like it's able to U-turn on well, Chansey type bullshit, Ferrothorn, stuff like that. And Medicham is just really good right now in the metagame. People are sleeping. Adamant Medicham is able to 2-hit KO the ever so popular Stealth Rock Clef with Zen Headbutt, which is not something that, you know, you should laugh at. Like, that's crazy. And Medicham in general is just really nice. I mean, look at Ojama's team. This thing can put in serious work. My Gliscor is the true genius of this team. It is Stealth Rock U-turn, which is a set that has been used in Gen 4 and Gen 6 in the past, although very rarely. I decided to use it in Gen 7 because I figured the U-turn core with Coco to bring in my Medicham and later my Ash Greninja just seems like a really potent offensive core, like of these 4 Mons, and I was like, I really like that. On top of that, Stealth Rock Gliscor is a nice change from using something like Clefable, because Gliscor is able to swap into Heatran pretty indefinitely. As you can see, my team, you know, it's not that good at switching into Heatran, but Gliscor is like pretty decent at doing it. All in all, I just liked Gliscor more because it made me able to go a more offensive route with this team instead of having to use like Clefable plus Gastrodon, which are 2 like real do nothing. Like, I hate those Mons. And then Tangrowth Celesteela for my defensive core. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty tried and true older defensive core. But hey, it works. It still works fine. I mean, AV Tangrowth is always doing its job. Celesteela, you know, it can work as an offensive presence too because of how strong it is on top of Leech Seed in general. So yeah, with that, I mean, Ojama's team, Mega Latios, Chansey with Rocks, Scarf Landers, T. I knew it was going to be Scarf Zone too, just because his team could, you know, be weak to Cart, and plus they're all Scarf Zone, honestly. Gren is either, what's it called, Scarf or Specs, and then maybe like Landers could be Rocks or some shit like that. And then Cart, I was pretty sure the Cart was Banded just looking at the preview. But anyway, let's hop right into the game. He leads off with Lando T as I lead off with Medicham. Him leading off with Lando T kind of just makes me believe it's instantly Scarf. I go for a fake out, does 15, telling me that is one bulky ass Landers T. There's no point in me taking damage here. I'm going to U-turn. I mean, I'm going to go right into my Gliscor as he U-turns out into his Greninja. And I was like, well, shit. I mean, he's probably going to get up a spike, but I'm not about to risk my Stealth Rocker on the second turn of the game. Here I double into my own Gren as he spikes. I knew he would 100% go into his Latios because it looks like Mega Latios, so I was not about to keep my Tangrowth in. Anyways, he doubles into his Chansey here as I get up my spike. So we both make some aggressive plays in the beginning to get our hazards up. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to go into my Gliscor here and just throw my rocks up as he goes right back into his Gren, hard switches into it. And I was like, alright, well, shit, where do I switch into Dark Pulse? I go into my Tangrowth thinking, again, like, if he Dark Pulses my Gliscor and I U-turn, I'm in a pretty advantageous situation, no lie. But, again, it's very early on in the game. I don't want to risk that. He doesn't even have to go for Dark Pulse because he has a Rock and a Spike up. So Hydro will do enough to where it negates my Regenerator. But that does a shit ton. So I was like, alright, well, I gotta chill. Anyways, I double out again into my Gren, knowing the Latios is coming in. I'm taking a lot of hazards damage here, but I have to start like putting myself in a more proactive situation, because if I just go for like a knockoff or a Giga Drain there, I'm gonna be screwed because Latios is gonna come in. Then I have to go into my Celesteela. If he doubles in the zone, you know, that's a whole nother can of worms. Like, I want to get the momentum back in my favor, so that's basically what I'm doing. Now here I make the double into my Mega Medi as his Latios actually goes for a recover, and I was like, what? Does he live that? And then I see my fake out do it to 23%. Adamant fake out do 23%, and I was like, bro, that's a Mega Latios. That's not even Mega Latias. I was like, how did that shit do only 23? And I calculated it, and I was like, this is a max HP Latios. But that means it's not max special attack, meaning I can live all of his hits. So I was like, I'm going to Ice Punch and knock this shit out the park. But Ojama, you know, he knows his set, obviously, knows he can't kill me. Goes into his zone, basically confirming that this is indeed a Scarf zone. As I go into my Gliscor, as he flash cannons, I believe U-turn here, I think, as he probably predicts a roost. Yup, so that's where the U-turn ends up working heat, just super heat, as I'm able to bring in JR 5 Hennies mode again, because, you know, I had to bring, my Auras team has a JR 5 Hennies mode as well, so don't even trip. I U-turn out on the Landers T and go to my Gliscor, which is great because now I'm able to heal this guy up all the way. If he wants to defog, it has to be with his Lando T, and yeah, then, like, you know, shit, you took him off from me too. And I get him back up. Anyway, he goes into his cart. Now here I thought, if they brought the cart in like this, he's probably just banded and probably just going to go for like a banded knockoff, assuming a Celesteela or something. Maybe a bit of an ambitious prediction on my part, really just trying to predict his set instantly. He did not reveal any Z-move users, and you're going to see this actually turns out to be Z-move cart. Anyways, I go for a Roost here, trying to scout a choice band to hit as he goes for an SD, which is a good play on his part, and again, like I said, just kind of an over-ambitious play on my part. But here I'm like, well, shit, I got to pick somebody to sack, so I guess it's going to be Tank Growth. He goes for the plus do Z and knocks my ass out, and shit, it dies. Anyways, I bring in my Coco here. Now, here I was like, well, I have to bring in my Coco, and I was thinking, well, I could Roost here, because if he goes to Landers on my Z T-Bolt, because I need Z T-Bolt to knock this thing out, I think. I was like, well, I look like a fool, but then I was like, you know what, I can't really risk that. Like, there's no reason for me to like make this flex play, and plus roosting into Landers T does not actually help me. That's what I realized. I was like, it doesn't really do much for me either. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna drop my Z and hope he stays in, and he ends up staying in. I guess he maybe expected me to be Shuckaberry. Maybe his spread was able to live. Maybe this thing just lives T-Bolt in general at 82. I don't even know, honestly. I didn't do the calc. But anyway, I U-turn out here on the Latios and go into my Gren instantly, you know, trying to bring favor back into my hands. I double into my Metachem here. Ooh, I was hot in those series of turns, baby. Knowing the chance he would come in, and now here I make a bad play. Now I knew he was gonna go into his Landers T. That's why I didn't high jump kick. I Zen headbutted, but I was afraid that maybe he would stay in with his Chansey, so I went for the Zen headbutt so I could, you know, do like some damage to Chansey, like more than Ice Punch. But that was a really bad play, and I realized it like literally 10 seconds after my move came out that if I'm gonna not high jump kick the Chansey, I might as well just Ice Punch. And he does go in his Landers T like I expected. And honestly, at the time, I thought Zen headbutt would kill with the rocks, but it only does 42. And I'm like, man, I'm adamant. How bulky is this fucking Lando? But yeah, if I Ice Punch there, I probably just put myself in like the instantly game winning situation. But no, now I have to U-turn. Now he gets to U-turn out into his Gliscor. I get to go into my Gliscor, and he gets to U-turn out into his Latios. I believe he roosts as I U-turn. No, he goes into Mag. True. Oh, he goes into Mag. Right, predicting my Celesteela. That was a fire play. Honestly, looking back at it, the fact that he was max HP and he kept roosting kind of suggested his Latios was Calm Mind, which I should have known. I don't know why I expected Ice Beam. I didn't like expect it. I just wanted to scout it because I was like, well, if sacking my Gliscor could be a choke. Yeah, I don't think I had to. I feel like I should have U-turned looking back at it. He made a great play getting the one window of opportunity to bring his zone in. But now I was like, fuck, I lost my Celesteela because he's able to Volt Switch, bring in that Gren, sack it, and then go right back to it. And I was like, man, no, I needed this for the Latios. And it could have just won right there. But I was like, shit, all right, let's see. He knocks me out the T-Bolt. I was like, all right, shit, it happened. I go into my Gliscor here. Now here, he T-Bolts. I U-turn out and bring in my Coco again. Now, he has, like, this is kind of an interesting series of events. So, if he stays in here, well, let me actually let the play go first. I Roost here the first turn. This is a misplay. I thought that in terrain, even though it's in terrain, I'd be able to live T-Bolt comfortably, but no, it does 54, so I can't Roost stall it. So I was like, shit. Now here, I'm going to go for the T-Bolt and knock him out, just get rid of the zone, as now he's going to go into his Latios over his Landers T. Now, this is kind of like a tough play, because if he went to his Landers T and defogged, he most likely could have won right there with his, well, actually, if he went to his Landers T, he's able to force my thing out, and then I have to go to one of these shits. And then I think Latios has a better chance of winning if he goes to Landers T on this particular turn. But anyways, he goes into his Latios, as I'm going to be able to go for the defog. Yeah, my set was defog, Roost, T-Bolt, U-turn, no HP ice whatsoever. I needed to put defog on this Coco, and I did not want to do 3-attack defog because Coco really oftentimes likes having Roost. So yeah, I'm able to defog here as he's not able to expect that. I U-turn out here, score a nice crit, and go into my Greninja. As he calm mines up. Now without the crit, he would have been able to live this Dark Pulse and probably kill me back with Dragon Pulse. Well, not probably, obviously kill me back with Dragon Pulse. But because of that crit, I'm able to knock him out right there. And at this point, the game is basically won by me, as I'm able to go into my glitch score, get the rocks up to limit the Landers, and once, and now I can basically go toe-to-toe PP stalling this Chansey until I'm able to bring in either my Medicham or whatever. And yeah, I'm going to stay in Earthquake, and he's just going to forfeit. Now, if I had not crit that U-turn, Dark Pulse would not have killed. It would have done around 50-ish%. His Latios would have, yeah, because it killed at 54. His Latios would have killed me off of Dragon Pulse, leaving his Latios at around 20-ish, if not less %, meaning Medicham fake out kills it. So he would have to have made a switch out into Landorus on a sack, or he would have had to sack his Chansey. One of them has to die. Then he has to bring back in his Latios, and the Dragon Pulse roll is around 60, I think it's 60 to 71%, or it might be 61 to 71, meaning it is pretty like close in his favor. I think he had like, he told me he had a 65% chance to kill. That's what he told me. So I would have also had to win some 50-50 routes, as would he have. But I think it was much more likely to be in his favor had I not crit the Latios. So this game definitely teetered more in his favor had I not crit the Latios. So in a sense, I did kind of commit some robbery here. But anyways, sorry to my man, because Ojama is my boy, but I am happy to have 1-2-0 and advance onto the semifinals. I made semifinals last year and lost. You know, I got hacks because, you know, you can't beat me normally. You know how it is, bro. Anyway, I just robbed this man. I just hacked this man. Now I'm talking about can't beat me normally. Anyway, I'm just fucking around. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed the gameplay, breakdown, whatever. Drop a like if you did. And, yeah, hopefully when I upload the semi set, it's a wash. All right, peace.